Hey YouTube, Brian LCS, and welcome back to the Comic Book Community 411. And my special guest is Mr. Geeking Out with Rosko. Rosko,
What's
how are
up?
you?
I'm good, Brian. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here on the 411, so thank you so much for having me.
Cool. So before we jump into the questions, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your channel and you
Sure. Yeah,
who
not a
you
problem.
are.
Yeah, absolutely. My channel is Geek Out with Rosko. Pretty much just I like to geek out. Like it doesn't just have to be comic books, even though that is one of the things. But comic books, cartoons, TV shows, movies, nerd pop culture, and whatever comes up on my show. But that's I'm gonna refer to Roscoe's Late Night Addiction with TM Nerdy, my Canadian co-host as always. Shout out to him. Thank you, Travis, for all that you do. But Yeah, Roscoe's Late Night Addiction with TM Nerdy is a late night show on the East Coast, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I usually do an unboxing. If I get something from the community or something, I usually do an unboxing, and then we talk about stuff. Travis sometimes prepares questions for it, like because if we have panel members, like we'll have like Captain Comics or Marcus. I mean, like anyone. So many different people that we invite everyone. We had Comic Journey on, Silver Knight Kyle. The list goes on and on. K-pop. We encourage anyone who wants to come on, hang out with us. Feel free. We're just there to hang out. That's a hangout show, and that goes on for a few hours. And then my one of my favorite shows I love doing. We just did it, Brian. Brian was just one of our guests.
Yes.
Between the Lines, where me and again TM Nerdy Travis, we interview a guest. Most of the time, it's a lot of people from the community, which we love because we love the community so much. And but once in a while we have a guest artist. Like we did have Ben Templesmith on over a year ago, which was so cool. It was a Halloween episode, so check that out. Geek Out with Roscoe. But it was a show that me and Chris from Cardboard Crazies created because we're both community artists. And so we thought maybe why not do an interview show where we all draw? And so that's what we do. We just, like I said, we just had Brian on. We just did Hanna-Barbera,
Yeah, that was fun.
which was a lot of fun. Yes, that was a great time. And I don't even have the picture next to me. I put it over this.
That's right. I did the same thing too. I didn't.
But anyway, but yeah, that show's on Monday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, where I said it's been me and Travis lately because Chris did just had a new baby boy, so he's been taken off for a while, and Travis has been such a huge help with the chat, so I can draw, and it's just great. That's one of my favorite shows. I love doing it every week now, and it's getting the new guests and different people on, and I love the community and getting the community involved because they do at-home editions. And we also asked the chat to ask questions, which you had firsthand, Brian.
Oh yeah. Some of the
Uh,
questions were better than others. Yes.
yeah, always. That's how it always goes. But again, we love interacting with the community, and so like I said, we love asking their asking what questions they have, as well as love showing their at-home edition artwork. Like I said, and then Travis posts it up on his Instagram either a day or two later, just to get it out. So again, we love that, and that's why we love the community interaction with that show. And then also I do shorts. I do short videos. I haven't done one lately, but I am working on one. So just be ready for that. But I love,
Check your shorts.
yeah, check your shorts. I love doing those. It's a lot of times I like doing it about community members, and sometimes it's about me. So like I said, I got one in the works, and I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Mm.
But and then also last but not least, I'm also an artist. Like I mentioned before, I'm an artist. A lot of stuff I post. Most of my stuff on Instagram. I have a couple pieces here. Do you want me to show real quick, Brian? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to show you a couple things that I've done. I'm not showing everything. I have a ton of things to show, but like I said, between the lines, we do the show, and we had Comics by the Bay. Shout out. He did Shirtless Bear Fighter, so he wanted to do one of our favorite characters, so I did Patrick Star from, SpongeBob.
SpongeBob,
Um,
yeah. Yeah,
so,
that's a great mashup. That's a great.
and then this is one of my favorite characters, Monterey Jack from Rescue Rangers,
Oh, yeah.
Chippendale's Rescue Rangers. I love Monterey Jack, one of my favorites, and so I had to do him. And it's when he says cheese, his mustache goes all crazy. I'm pretty sure the same goes when Rob Fatstacks talks about barbecue. Um, here's another one I did. This was the cartoon version of Beetlejuice.
Oh,
Um,
that's great.
yep, that was with who was on that show? It says Tune the Lines October 24th. So that was Halloween, I believe.
Halloween. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I think it was Bobby De La Ghetto. And then this was Reptar Cereal. The theme was breakfast.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Okay. That was with
Tyler.
Tyler,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Shattered Glass, right? Yeah.
Shattered Glass,
Wax.
also
Yeah.
from Whack Comics,
Yeah. Yeah.
Tyler. So, like I said, we love having people on from the community, and it's just a good time. And then this one is one I just did a long time ago. This was just a fun Sugar Skull of a Ghost Rider type of piece that
Nice.
I did, and this was a lot of fun. This was really cool. So, um, and then last but not least, I know a lot of people love this. This is claimed, but it's my Venomized Donald Duck. I love showing this piece off. This is one of
Oh,
the
that's a
first.
great one too. Yeah.
This is one of the first covers I actually ever attempted to do, and I did Roscoe and the symbiote down there.
Oh, that's nice.
But yeah. So this is one of the very first covers I ever attempted to do, and my first one was Wolverine, and then I think this was my second or third. The second one didn't come out as well, but then this one I did this, and I was like, I'm hooked. So I started doing covers, and I love doing comic book covers. So yeah, my commissions are not open at the moment. I have a lot of stuff I got to get through,
Yeah.
So yeah, so I still have because I'm still working on commissions. So I talked to you about that, Brian, the other night. So, but
Yeah.
but again, we can talk later on. We can always discuss something in the next few months. So I appreciate everyone's support. I appreciate everyone just being behind me and supporting my artwork. And again, also the show Between the Lines. So thank you so much. I love this community. You've been nothing but amazing to me. So just a shout out to this incredible community. And I've met some of the most amazing people here. So Brian, thank you so much again. I appreciate
Yeah.
you having me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, community very generous, very very helpful. It's a good group of people, so it's good. It's good to be part of it. And you see channels hitting milestones and doing giveaways and the AOKs that we share and
Oh yeah, oh, yeah.
yeah, just yeah, a good group of people. So
It's
it's
amazing.
yeah, good to be a
This
part.
community is amazing.
But so now I'm thinking of it. Before we actually jump into all the six questions that we're going to get to tonight, I have maybe, I guess this would be like question like point five, since you mentioned
Okay.
mentioned it with Travis and TM Nerdy. So when did you guys kind of start to really partner up on the different shows? Was it once when Cardboard Crazies had to kind of step away and then TM kind of, or how did that relationship form? I guess.
Well, we started. He actually. Okay, well, I've known Travis. We all know Travis.
Oh yeah,
But again, I was doing. I I was doing a show with Travis. I was doing Spinetics. Travis was over there, and I got to know him better through there. And then once I did a couple more shows with him, via different platforms and different people. I got to know him even better. And then we ended up doing Rosko's Late Night Addiction, and then to be honest, from there we just clicked, and like it was just like, hey man, so I asked him if he wanted to be a permanent on Rosko's Late Night Addiction. This was before it was called Rosko's Late Night Addiction with TM Nerdy. So anyway, like I said, I was like, hey man, do you want? He was like, yes, absolutely, I love the show. So I was like, that's great, man, that's just so great. I appreciate this is so that was our show together first, and then what happened is Between the Lines. Chris was like, hey man, I can't do as many episodes anymore. I gotta newborn coming, and I said,
Right,
no, I
right. Yeah, yeah.
completely agree. Not a problem. But I didn't want to stop the show. I love the show so much. It's honestly, it's one of my passions now. I can't get enough of it. I think like I said, it's more about the community. Like I said, getting to see their artwork, getting to ask the questions they want, and interacting with them. It's amazing. So, so like I said, that's my favorite show. So I didn't want to stop it. I asked Travis, or actually, me and Cardboard had Travis come on and kind of be like a mediator of mediator of the chat, because me and Chris would be drawing, we wouldn't
Right.
be able to address the chat as much as we want to. So what happened is like we were like, oh, this would be a great idea. So me and Chris talked about, like, yeah, let's get him on. And he was so on board because he already loved the show. And he was like, yeah, absolutely, I definitely want to be a part of it. And it was like, well, that's great, because we wouldn't want anyone else. So I mean, like, we're not better than one of the best community supporters in the whole game than have Travis be there to, like I said, assist and support, and be there with the chat and just be that guy. So I was like, this is perfect. So, but having Travis on has been nothing but amazing, and I truly appreciate him so much. He has become such a dear friend, and we pretty much talk almost every single day. I can't say enough nice things about him, and he, like I said, gives me a chance to draw, and he addressed the whole chat now. And since it's been me and him, like I was saying, Chris has a newborn, so he's going to be sidelined for quite a little bit. So having Travis there and still continuing the show just brings joy to my life.
Oh, that's great. That's good. Yeah, no, he certainly does a good job helping keep, the chat moving and asking
Oh yeah,
questions, and just, yeah, when you're occupied drawing, right? You can't, I mean, just StreamYard or a live stream in general there's a lot that because you want to pay attention to the chat, and keep the chat moving, and
right.
answer questions or comments. So yeah, it can get busy trying to do that all by yourself. So
Absolutely. Yep. And like I said, it's been amazing just having him there, because like you were saying, because we wanted to get more people involved, and people did have chat questions, and we did miss them before, and I didn't like that. I wanted the people to feel like they were a part of the show. So, but like I said, I can't thank that guy enough. Travis, you're the man. Appreciate you, brother.
all right,
Go check out
I think we've
TM30.
talked about him way too much.
Yeah, too much about Canada. No.
All right, so Roscoe, let's get into your first question. So the first four questions are going to be kind of the standard questions that I ask all my guests. So
Okay.
up first is, how did you get into comic book collecting?
Okay. So when I started when I was a lot younger, and then I was out of the game for over 15, 16. Let's see. Yeah, probably around 15, 16 years. I was out of the game, and then when I started coming back, it was like 2018, 2019. When I started like going back to the comic book shop, and then like just refreshing myself and like learning, like, because there was only like maybe like one or two times in that like 15-year stance that I actually went to a comic book shop, and it wasn't, I didn't even, and I just kind of just browsed, like nothing like crazy, and then but then all of a sudden one day I was like, man, I need to get back in. So I went in there, and I was like, oh, I found a couple books, and I started reading them. I was like, oh, this is cool. So 2020 hit. The whole pandemic just rocked the world. So I became, a hermit. You become a hermit. You're stuck at home, and so I started reading comic books again, and I started drawing again. But because before 2020, I just would doodle, just little stupid doodles here and there. I wasn't drawing like I was, years before that. I mean, like, I probably hadn't like really drawn like an actual thing in like, gosh, probably like 7 years.
Oh wow,
Just like,
okay,
yeah, just what, like I said, just little doodles like on paper or like a napkin or a receipt at your like a
right,
restaurant.
right,
You know what I mean? And people be like, oh, that's good. And I'm like, and then, but 2020 hit, and I started getting the whole comic book scene on Instagram, like comic book auctions, and then YouTube. I never really, ever like watched YouTube. Like, you know what I mean? I watched, like, it's weird. Okay, so when I mean that, I mean like when I watched YouTube, I'd look up little things here and there. I didn't watch like hour-long shows or, you know, my YouTube consisted of music or like a 4 or 5 minute tutorial on something. So, but before that, like I never watched an hour, 2, 3, 4 hour long show about comic books or whatever, from us in the community, until until 2020. So, and that's when I started getting into it again. And so I want to say 2018, 2019, I started getting into it, and I fell in love because me being an artist, I fell in love with variant covers. I know people are like, "Oh God, variant covers," but I mean, there's some artwork that's like, a cover A may be nice, but that variant is gorgeous.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, sure.
wow, you know what I mean? So it's just like, and I and when I got back in collecting, I was stupid. I was stupid buying things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have an idea, and no one ever tells you that when you go back into collecting, or if you start collecting, you have to find your way. And now I have a certain, thing I'm looking for, instead of just like, oh, that's nice, that's nice, that's nice, I'll take those,
Right.
and then I was coming home and I'd be like, man, I have 3 of the same book, but different variant covers. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? And it's like, and it'd be like, a lot of them would be DC, and I wasn't even really reading DC. They were just beautiful covers. I mean, so needless to say, I got back in, and I discovered indie titles, and that's what just blew me up into comic book collecting and reading more. And like I said, I was reading a little bit of Marvel, maybe one Batman book, but I was like, I mostly stick with Marvel. And then, like I said, indie books like Shirtless Bear Fighter, Something is Killing the Children. These books like just, were just like, whoa, this isn't Marvel, this isn't superhero,
Right.
so it was it was very it was very cool. It was very cool to, that experience again, to like, that joy that I had when I was younger, when I discovered Spider-Man, like, when I was younger, when I was in the 90s, I discovered, I was like, oh, what, Spider-Man? And then you see like Venom, and you're like, whoa, as a kid, you're like, whoa, like, so,
Yeah.
so like, being an adult, I already knew all these, but now I see like Something Killing Children, Stray Dogs, all these amazing, Do a Power Bomb, all these amazing titles. Twig, love Twig. All these titles that are coming out, that are like all these indie books, Slumber. I mean, there's so many, and there's really good ones out there. Crimson Cage, I know, that's a good one too. I don't know if you,
Yeah. I mean,
the
yeah, right.
artwork in it.
Between the artwork and then the storytelling, right? It's a little bit different than the typical Marvel or DC book. So yeah, I mean the
Absolutely.
indies have been,
Yeah.
and they've been really good stories, some of the best stories probably over the last couple of years,
Oh yeah.
seem to come from an indie book.
Oh, no doubt. Yep. So, and that's what I've grown more towards. I mean, now I'm all about because it's all about nostalgia for me now. Collecting, like, that's what I'm all about. Like my old cartoons, like just for example, Darkwing Duck issue #1, Gargoyles issue #1. You know what I mean? These 90
Right.
cartoons, 80s cartoons. I have the A-Team issue #1 from Marvel. I like these Marvel books that they put out. Like I just talked to someone, and it looks like I'm getting the Labyrinth, like David Bowie Labyrinth,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Dance Magic Dance. Yeah. So Marvel put out a 3-issue miniseries of that book, and so I'm all about that. I'm like Muppet Babies. I have Terminator 2. Like, so these are books. Camp Candy. Shout out to my man John Candy. These are books that like I want to collect like issue number 1 of these. Like Fraggle Rock is what I'm looking for. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm all about these, and I also like weird books. I know that sounds weird, but I do like weird books. Like I have a book. I wish I could show it. I should have took it out. I wish I was. But I have a book that it's like a phony Arnold Schwarzenegger fights Big Bird.
Oh,
And it's a comic book, and it's an actual comic book. So weird stuff like that also like just makes me go like, oh man, that is so cool. I have to have that. You know, like Toxic Avenger is a weird character that I love, and
oh
I
yeah,
need to have
yeah.
him in my collection. I mean, I'm from New Jersey, which also helps, but I mean, it's just another weird character that I love. You know, so you know, it's just I like weird stuff, cartoons, 80s, 90s movies, TV shows, like, you know, I mean, you know, like Alf, you know, stuff like that. So that's what I'm now geared towards. I wish I knew that ahead of time. But
Right.
again, I think collecting, you have to find your own way, your own path. Because, like I said, you at first I feel like I was just buying everything. Like, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. You know, and then I didn't have like a set thing where now it's like, man, I bought all that, and I could have really bought this one like a grail
Right.
book that I
Right.
want, but I have a whole short box of these. Like, what's going on here? You know,
Right.
so but yeah, it's all learning experience, and it was a lot of fun doing it. And I'm still like, you know, to be honest with you, I've been doing it for a couple of years, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning about it, you know, especially like with grading now. Like that was something I never knew about, you know,
All
until
right.
I got
Yep.
got into it in 2020. I was like, grading books, like, huh? Like, like,
Yeah. No,
like,
when I first collected, there was no such thing. You know, grading companies didn't exist.
right.
So
Yeah. So you know, like, so like I said, it's like I'm continually learning, and I also love learning about like different characters and stuff. Again, hanging out with Travis, you know, he's a big DC guy. You know, he's always talking DC. So you know, like I said, but I love learning about characters and different stuff, and you know, different universes and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. It's just I love the comic book community. So.
well, that's good. Yeah. I think that's, you know, I think whether you're coming back into the hobby or finding it for the first time, it's like drinking from a fire hose, right? You, like you said, you need to kind of find your way and figure out, you know,
Yep.
because you can get, you know, cover by, I think we all fall into that trap where you see an incredible piece of artwork and it may not be a book or a character that you particularly collect, but because the artwork's so good, you end up, you know, buying the book. And then, yeah, you look back at it a couple years later and like, you know, why do I have all these books that I'm really not into? But, you know, so
And
it
that's what I
takes
feel like with oh, sorry, that's what I feel like with the Venom run. Like I was like, God, I have like three variants of almost every issue that came out.
well, and that's the other issue right now, right? I mean, they were some books they'll put out 15, 20 different variant covers. So there's so many
Dynamite.
different options. Yeah, which is you know, kind of crazy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
well, I was thinking about your collecting. Are you actively collecting? Because I know I don't typically see you show like, you know, a lot of channels and a lot of community members will show off, you know, books, their comic book haul on New Comic Book Day. But I know you. I don't think you really do that. So are you actively collecting, or are you kind of going? I mean, new books, I should say.
Okay, so within the last year, trying to conserve money and space, um,
Yeah.
I have actually been reading 90 92% of the books for New Comic Book Day books are all digital for me.
Digital. Yeah. Okay.
And I'm just going to tell you right now, Brian, I'm not a fan. I miss paper. I miss having it in my hands. It's just it's just a different whole different world, you know. And it's like I got to click the screen, and it's like, oh man, you know, battery. You got, you know what I mean? It's like
Right. Right.
um, but like I said, I read most of my books digitally now, just like I said, to save on money, and like I said, to save on space, because like I said, when I when I first got into it, I bought a lot of books, and like I said, a lot of them are like, you know, I'm like, what am I doing with a lot of these books? You know, so what I'm doing, like I'm just going to be out with the older and in with some new. So I will be buying some newer books here soon. But
Okay.
I'm not as heavy as I used to be. I've been it's been over a year now where I haven't really been like to my LCS like on New Comic Book Day. So
Yeah, I just kind of did an audit of my pull list and wrote out a list of books that I'm, probably going to cut in the next couple of weeks because I've had some really heavy, weeks where I'm, $50, $60 in new books. And I'm like, I could, if I cut back a little bit, I could take some of that money and buy some of the older books. And then, some of these books are not really characters that I'm totally in love with that I could probably read, digitally, and really focus more on Spider-Man, Miles Morales characters that I really, really, really enjoy. So, yeah, it's
exactly.
funny. You're constantly like evaluating your, collecting habits and where your money's going, and just
Ain't that the
yeah,
truth?
yeah, yeah. So, how did you make so all right, you got back into collecting, you started getting, back into doing artwork. So then how did you make the leap to say, all right, I'm watching YouTube now. Now I'm going to start my own channel.
um, so I started watching a show. Shout out to Rod the Rican and Greg from Bearded Comic Bro. Um, they were doing a show called Lame or Frame. My artwork was getting out there little by little. I was sending it to people like also shout out to Wildebeest. I don't know if you know Wildebeest. He
Oh,
was
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Will Hero and the Kid. He used to be with his dad. A show like like when I first started. So shout out to Will. Awesome guy. But I sent him, get this, I sent him because I watched their show like all the time. They did a variant show. They shouted me out on there and I was like, oh man, this is really cool. So I sent them a cover. Just like, to, thank them because they, like I said, they shouted me out on there and I was just like, oh man, this is so cool. I sent them a Venom cover and it was a Venomized Dwight Schrute because he's an Office fan. And, so I made that cover for Will, and so they did an episode and they showed it on there, thanking me and stuff. And so what happened was Bearded Comic Bro was doing a show because they kind of like I met him through there, so I ended up sending him a cover as well. Well, my artwork started getting out there, and people asked me to be on a show called Lamer Frame. Shout out again, Rod the Rican, which. I'll be on a new episode or on an episode. I don't know when this will air, but for Old Wolf's 24-hour, we're doing a Lamer Frame
Oh,
with
okay, great. Yeah.
with some great people. So I'm excited for that. But like I said, I got the bug when I was on Lamer Frame. It did not go well at all for me when I first was because I was using my phone. And I was trying to do that, and I'm like, "This is the first time I'm doing." I'm like, "This ain't working," because I'm trying to draw. And okay, so it was a disaster. My mic, or like, they couldn't hear me. So the first two shows I did, because I won the first time I was on there, and so what happens is you come on the next weeks. If you're the winner, it carries
Right.
over.
Yeah.
I come back on there, and it's still horrible. I have horrible audio. I end up. What did I do? I ended up. Using what was I using? I had like a tablet, and that worked for a little bit, but then my friend actually let me use his laptop and he ended up getting a new one, so I just took this off his hands. And so shout out to my man Craig, appreciate you, brother, love you, bro. He gave me his old laptop, so I've been using
nice.
that, and it's been great. But I don't know. Someone was like, "Hey, man, you should," because I like when I was on Lamer Frame, people are like, "Hey, man, you should start your own channel," and I'm like, "I'm not going to start my own channel. Are you crazy?" And they're like, so then a couple other people were like, "Hey, I saw you on Lamer Frame. You're hilarious. You should be doing YouTube." And then my family members are like, "Hey, you should start a YouTube channel." And I was like, "Well, what am I doing anyway?" You know what I mean? It's like, I'm stuck in the house anyway, so might as well. So I did like an unboxing video that was just like horrific. Like, I mean, it was so bad. Like, I mean, like there's nothing behind me. It's like it was. Oh my gosh,
I know.
it
Yeah,
was.
no,
It's
we all started that way. When I was watching a couple early videos of mine recently, and yeah, it was just like, what am I doing? Like, what was I doing? Like,
I know it's so great. Oh man, it's so funny. But as I went on, then you meet people, and then you do other shows. You get an eye for what other people are doing, how they run shows, who's who you interact well with. So again, that's another learning experience. But yeah, I was doing unboxings, and then I don't know. I think that's all I was doing for a while was unboxings, and they were like, I was just like, man, this isn't really going anywhere. You know what I mean? They're just like, it's just me unboxing stuff. And it's like, and, but needless to say, I know that's a big thing now. Unboxing videos are huge,
right.
but I just was like, it was just me going, all right, let me open this. Oh, this is cool. And I was like, all right, I got to think of something else. So then I started doing the shorts and stuff, and it went from there. And, it was just, it's just been a lot of fun. And then me and Chris, he did a show called Art with the Professor on Saturday mornings, where he would draw, and it'd be a Saturday morning hangout. Okay. And he would draw and have people come on if they wanted to draw. And so then he was like, "Hey man, I'd love to do a show with you." And so we ended up talking, and me and Chris came up with Between the Lines, and then now that's my favorite show on my channel. So
That's great. Yeah, I think we kind of, once you have a little bit of experience under your belt, I think the live stream and the live show is kind of, the next step. Once you kind of, do the unboxings, you show your comic book hauls, things like that.
yep.
It's kind of then taking it to live show, because it's such a hangout, right? I mean, I've been on live streams where the chat is like doing their own thing almost, where they're having conversations back and
Yep.
forth, and and it just becomes like this big hangout. So.
That's what happened on your show, Breakfast with Brian, the other day, when people were talking about height. Remember that? When everyone was talking about how tall they were, and you're like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, and I'm like, everybody was saying how tall they were, and I'm like, wait a minute, what did I miss?
I know, it's crazy. It's like their own. You're like, you're doing your thing, and then everyone in chat's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Oh yeah, I was just watching. Yeah. I just got finished watching Titanic. It's not Nick's Kicks with Comics. He'd never say that, but
no. All right. So, all right, we talked about collecting. We talked about the YouTube channel. Now, if you had creative control over an existing character, that you could rewrite, reboot, who would you tackle?
Man, great question. If I could, Oh, okay. Well, so it is coming back out, which I am like, I'm ecstatic for. But I guess if I, do you mean like drawing, or do you mean like I have creative like vision?
Well,
like
yeah,
just...
I mean drawing, or writing the story, or maybe taking the character in a different direction.
Ooh, okay. Oh, great question. I love it. Okay, I would do Darkwing Duck, and what I would do with him, I would make him like how like I would make him a villain, like for a short period of time. But I would somehow make Darkwing Duck, actually really dangerous. Wink. No, but yeah, I would do something with that. I would have actually him become him a villain, and then see what how that plays out. So because then I think like I would have the villains be confused, like why is he trying to be a villain and not try, you know what I mean? Like I'd have like that whole backstory.
Right,
so
right.
But I know that they are redoing Darkwing Duck, but Darkwing Duck's like hands down one of my favorites. So I think I would love to do that, because you can do some really cool, especially artwork style. You can do some really dark, like cool pieces with with city lights, and like with that bridge, you can have him look over the over the city. I mean, there's like I feel like the artwork with that can be really creative, and like I said, have like that do more of a Batman feel.
Right.
Like a darker tones. But again, I also would do that because I would want him to be, like I said, I would actually maybe like him get like hit in the head, and like have some kind of like he knocks a screw loose, and then he sees like, oh, I'm a what am I, a villain? And then he thinks in his mind that he's a villain when he sees his costume and stuff, and maybe that's what he. And like I said, I think that's what I would do.
Oh,
That's
I like it.
something that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
and it's
I'm
good to
not gonna
have a
lie.
character with a cape. The long flowing cape. You can do a lot with that from an artwork perspective.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. I love. Yeah, I actually. Oh man, I don't know where it is. I did a piece of. I did a artwork. I did a Darkwing Duck. Man, I'm surprised I don't have it over here. But yeah, I did Darkwing Duck with a cool cape. Um, thought it was over here. Sorry, but yeah, and it was when I did on Between the Lines. It's another art piece that I did. But yeah, check out Between the Lines, and you'll see it was an episode for Ducks with K-pop.
Now, do you post all of your artwork on Instagram? Because I know you mentioned the Dwight Schrute Venomized. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that. Is that on your Instagram?
Okay, so I should post it because what happened was is okay, so I used to have an old Instagram account before I did the whole Geek Out with Rosko thing.
Okay.
And so what happened was is then I started my own Instagram for just my artwork, and it was called Art of Rosko, which is still active, but well, I shouldn't say active. I really haven't posted anything on there in a while,
But it's still
but
out there if somebody wanted to find it.
exactly. And that's where a lot of that, like that piece is on there. I have a Thanos piece that I have like that. He has like a big gold rope chain with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh,
Like
really?
as the
Okay.
yeah, like I did that a while ago too. So I mean, like these are like old, and maybe I should repost them all on Geek Out with Roscoe. Because like I said, they're all on Art of Roscoe, and so like a lot of that artwork is on there. Um, but yeah, so I started that, and then like I said, I started the whole YouTube thing, and I was like Geek Out with Roscoe, So I started the Instagram, and then I really just been focused on that because I've been wanting to grow that name, which has grown. So
I'll add that link because I was not following Art of Roscoe. I didn't really know that existed, but I'll add your current IG, Art of Roscoe, and then obviously your YouTube channel in the description. So if anybody wants to, please go check out Roscoe, follow him, and you can go check that out. But I'm interested to go see the
Dwight
Schrute
Schrute.
Venom. Yes.
You want to know something really cool about that too? On the back, like okay, so with my covers, on the back of the cover, if I don't do a full wraparound, I always brand something on the back. Like no matter what, if you get a commission by me and I do the front cover, you can always expect something on the back cover. Okay, for instance, I just did the one for Rob Fat Stacks.
Yes.
On the back, I don't know if you saw, but I did the cancer ribbon, and it was kind of like torn, and I wrote the dates of comics curing cancer. So,
nice.
like I said, I on the back cover, I always do something. So on the back of the Dwight Schrute, the Venomized Dwight Schrute, I did a Venomized Dundee Award.
Oh.
Yeah. So, so like I said, always expect if you get a book from me, if you get a cover from me, and you just get the front, always expect there's going to be a
Check the
small.
back.
Yeah, always check the back, always. So, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, and
Yeah. I got to go check that out. Now you've piqued my interest. I definitely want to go see some of the additional
other stuff.
artwork. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some other stuff on there. Yeah, I probably have not posted on my Geek Out with Roscoe page. So.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe you should do that. So make sure that people see it. But
I know I didn't even think about that. I should start I should just flood it, put all my pictures. No.
all right. So let's move on to our fourth question. What is one thing that you you don't care about or dislike in comic book collecting, or within the community. Something that maybe just not not for you.
What's not for me? Um, to be honest with you, I you know I I don't like. I mean, I've been scammed with comic books before, so I'm not a fan of that. I that that hurt me because I tried to get some like old FF books, old Fantastic Four, because a lot of people probably don't know this about me, but the Thing, Ben Grimm is one of my. I for some reason certain covers with him on it just piqued my interest, and I don't know why, but I have like a whole short box almost of just Thing covers, which is
Oh wow.
insane. Yeah, I don't think anyone really knows that. I think that's the first time I said this. Bobby may know. Bobby, I think, me and him share a love for him. Um, but I bought these three older like FF books, and it was like a really good deal. But again, I was new. I was new to it and stuff, and he just took advantage of me, and it sucked. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that much, but it was like like this was one of my first big purchases, so it kind of almost like made me go, I don't think I want to buy anymore through Instagram. I'm like, I don't
Right.
know if I want to do this anymore. And but like at the time, I'm buying cover books. I'm into LCS spending $3.99, $2.99. So I'm like, so for me to spend like $50 on like these three books, I was just like, I'm like, oh man, these are good. These are old books. I was like, all right, just and I was like, damn. So I hate that. I hate when people scam other people to try, and also like, when people do the whole, hey, buy this FF Ultimate, or I'm sorry, buy this Ultimate Fallout 4 issue, or issue number 4 with first appearance of Miles Morales, and then they're like, it's you're getting it for a deal of $500, and you're like, oh, what? And then all of a sudden, it's the facsimile,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate when people try to pull over, pull it, try to fake you out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's another thing I don't like. Like I said, I don't like scammers. I don't like. I guess I don't like people taking advantage of other people, especially in this community, because we're such a tight knit group that majority of us are looking out for one another and are here to help one another. And so when I see stuff like that, that irks me. That really grinds my gears. So yeah, I guess that's what I don't like. I guess that's got to say the worst thing I think about collecting are the people who are trying to scam
Mhm.
people. Especially like I said, my main thing is when I see people trying to sell facsimile for like 100 or like hundreds of
Right.
dollars. So that really irks me. And I think that's about it, because I mean, like I mean, I love everything else about it. I love books, and so, I mean, I guess the only other thing now I'm thinking about it is one thing that does. All right, one more thing, Brian. I'm sorry. But how is it that McFarlane can charge for that quality of book was a $2.99, right? And then you go over to Marvel and you look at their quality and you're paying $2 more. That now
Yeah.
that
The
irks me.
cover's weighty.
That makes me mad, because I'm like, how is it possible that that image is getting this quality for $2 less, and you're like you're just like tissue paper? I mean, so that's another thing I've been like lately. Another thing that I mean, and again, I haven't really bought books in a while, but that was something that did irk me for like when I was collecting New Comic Book Day. So because I did collect, here's one of my favorite books right here, Strange Academy. Big Scotty Young fan, shout out Scotty Young, awesome. But Strange Academy, I bought all those floppies. Those are all I had to collect all those. That's one of my favorite series too. So but yeah, I mean, come on, how is
Yeah,
that?
no,
How
I've seen that firsthand, where it seems like Marvel, like if they release a number one issue, like Miles Morales just came out like 2 weeks ago, a new run of Miles Morales started with a number one, and that was quality. The cover was quality, so that they can do it. But then you see other books where I'm looking at brand new books on my LCS shelf, and the Marvel covers are wavy. Like you can
Yeah.
see how thin the paper is.
Yep.
So it's kind of, yeah, I don't know if it's, supply issues, or are they just trying to save money, or because then you look at, I picked up other books from like Aftershock where you have the cardstock cover,
Yep.
very inside paper, very quality, and they're what, $3.99 or $4.99 books, comparable or if not cheaper than a Marvel book, and the quality is there. So yeah, I don't know. I wish
Yeah.
I wish there was a good answer for that.
But that's another thing that irks me, though. That was
Oh,
another
definitely.
thing when that was so people getting scammed, and then people. I mean, then big multi-million-dollar companies that are
Right,
should be doing what Image is doing. So
right, right.
the quality needs to be better there. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's a couple things that irk
All
me, but
right, those are
everything
good
else
ones.
mostly I'm cool, man. I'm cool with everything else.
Those are good ones. Those are good ones. All right, so you made it through the 4 questions that I ask everybody. Now the next 2 is going to be random. The first one will be a question that I picked, and then the last will be a true random question. I have a list of 50 questions, so I'm going to
Mhm.
ask you to give me a number in a minute. But my question for you is, obviously you're an artist. You do a bunch of drawings and sketches, but what's your favorite medium? Is it pencil, colored pencils, markers? What's your favorite to draw with?
Okay. All right. So I'm a man. This is tough because everything you listed is what I use. But
Well, they could all be your
but
favorite, right?
pencil. Uh, yeah, I have a lot of favorites. No, but I mean, I always sketch everything out. I sketch everything out before I do pen. But pen makes everything so much
Mm,
cleaner for me. Because my pencil is so it's not clean. You know what I mean? It's like it's a quick
right, right. Yeah,
so but when I go with the pen, then all my lines are even and this and so it's hard for me to say which one I like more. Do I like the pencil or the pen more? Um, but I wouldn't get to my pen if I didn't have the pencil. You know what I mean?
right,
So,
right.
but if I did have to choose, I think anything I do in pen, um, is just it just makes everything so much better. Actually, hold on one second. I got something I'm going to show you real quick. That I did pen. Hold on. Sorry about that, Brian. Okay,
That's,
so I did this, and I did this
oh wow,
in pencil, but this wouldn't have been anything if I didn't do it in pen, though. You know what I mean? Like the detail in the face.
right.
This is a scarecrow, by the way. I did this. This was
And the
just
shading
a
too, right? The
sketch.
black, the black outline, right? You can't get that deep black color, with pencil. I mean, you can shade, but you can't get.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, exactly. So, but like I said, but if you see, but I use pencil in there anyway to for the shading, So I mean, pencil and pen for me go hand in hand. But I do love my colors, so I do I do love my colors.
Now,
I
are the
don't think anyone.
colors, are they marker or are they colored pencil or whatever?
Majority of the time, I've been working with marker. I
Okay.
really, I like marker, but again, just to let you know, every time I use marker, I use colored pencil because depending on what color I use, I'll shade. I'll shade in different
Right.
crevices. So say if like last night I did I don't have it, the picture that we did on between the lines. I used a navy blue for the little areas that would have shading. So it's not just um, black pencil, but I do use my black colored pencils. No lie, like all of them are this small. Like I mean, like they're all
Right.
because I use black colored pencil to
Yeah,
shade
I,
most
I
of.
broke out my daughter's. So my daughter's an artist. So I went and grabbed her colored pencils last night for
Nice.
So when I was drawing on your show, that I could do a little bit of shading and stuff as well. So
Yeah. So it's just, I mean, to be honest with you, my everything, all my artwork, everything goes hand in hand. Like my pencil to my pen to then my marker to then my colored pencils again. So like everything I do has. Oh yeah, I got this right next to me. What am I saying? I have one here. Yeah, so like when I shade, like like everything that I shade, like down, like in there, like underneath his chin and stuff in the
right,
corner,
right.
that's like I did blue, and then what I used is I used a dark blue colored pencil, and so I right up here too, and like the glass is up there, the dark blue, and then the light blue,
Oh, okay.
so
Yeah.
I mean. Everything goes hand in hand for me. But that's my favorite though. My favorite medium of all time is the pencil pen marker combo. Like that's my jam.
And you do.
Every oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say all of your work is drawn. You don't do
Yes.
anything digitally, right? I think we had a conversation recently about that. I was asking you, about a logo, but you do everything. Everything's hand drawn, pencils, pens. No,
Yep.
you're not. I know a lot of artists today have moved more to digital, where they're doing stuff on iPads or tablets, things like that.
Yes. Yep. I nope. I'm all old fashioned. It's kind of like with comic books, like I like reading a comic book instead of digitally,
Right, right.
it's like, it's almost like full circle, it's like, but I love drawing, and I've been drawing since I could hold a pencil. My mom tells me as soon as I was able to hold a pencil in my hand, I was just drawing. So, now as I'm getting older, I do suffer from a disease called psoriatic arthritis. I've mentioned this on other shows before, but, it's crippling. It's crippling my body, and every year is just I'm just getting worse. And so, but my hands have suffered the most. I've permanently lost like this hand. This hand does not close anymore for me,
Oh wow.
and this hand here doesn't open all the way. So, um, so for me to still be able to hold a pencil with this hand, even though like I can't even like I've lost like the strength in my hands. So um, it is difficult. It's very difficult. Every day is a struggle for me. Not just drawing, but just with everyday life. But drawing brings passion. Brings excitement in my life, and that's why I love doing it. And so, and it still gives me that like I can still draw. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
um, until there's until my hands are done, which could happen. I don't know when. Just you never know. Um, maybe I'll do digital then, because to be honest with you, I see digital and I see people draw, and then they just mirror the thing on the other side. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
I mean, you kind of have to. I mean, I'm not taking away from anyone who does digital artwork. I'm not saying that at all. I love digital artwork. There's some incredible stuff. Do not get me wrong, but it is a lot easier. It is a lot easier to just click the undo button.
Right. Right. Instead of
Where
the eraser and yeah, no,
erase.
it,
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it does look
But
like there are some shortcuts in the digital world.
oh,
When drawing
absolutely.
art, right? Whether it's shading or, like you
Yeah,
said, cutting, pasting, duplicating, things like that. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, and then when you add a color, you can go, oh, that color doesn't work. Let's try a different one. Where it's
right,
like, oh man, I'm stuck. You know.
right,
But again, it gives me that. It just gives me that like I can still draw. Even though my hands are completely crippled, I still am able to hold my utensil, and I can still draw like, and I still can actually draw pretty decent, which
right,
blows my mind.
right.
Like
Yeah,
like some of the stuff I'm like, I look at my hands and I'm like, I can't believe that I can draw this stuff. Like my hand, like I said, like my hands are like my hands are all like my hands not straight. That my hands
right,
completely
right.
crippled.
No, yeah,
You
you
know,
can see it. Now,
so
does the drawing, does holding the pencil or holding a marker, that is that like therapeutic for your hands, or no? Is it just
no, it's
mm,
not.
yeah, okay,
I have like a I have like a I have like this massager thing that I do to try and help my hands. So if I draw for quite a while, I'm definitely there trying to like break up my hand from being so like cramped
Right.
and like, stuck. But it's already like that anyway. So, but but yeah, so it is therapeutic to me, more mentally.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm sure.
It's but it does do a number on my hands. So when I that's what I said. Like when I do commissions, please just work with me because I am trying to get those done for you. It's just sometimes things take me a little bit longer, so it's just that's what I try to tell people. I don't really have a time frame, but but I will get it to you. I promise and swear. But yeah, but like you said, it is therapeutic mentally for me. Absolutely. It's because like I said, it's satisfying to know, even know how bad my hands are and how messed up I am, really, like my entire body, but how that I can still produce something, like this. It brings joy, and then I love it because it brings joy to other people. When I do Between the Lines, like I said, we have people that say, "Hey, I love your show." Great show. People ask to be on the show. I mean, that just, it, it just, it's just, it's very, very, it's near and dear to my heart.
Mm.
And it just, and like I said, it's just really good for you as like a person. And like, because having negativity and negative things happen in your life, you have to stay positive. You have to look at that that silver lining no matter what. You always there's always something. There's always someone that may be way worse or something else that could be
Right.
way worse, so always got to stay positive. And little things, like I said, like doing this and bringing joy, showing my, like when my mom loves seeing my artwork, my family members, my grandmother loves seeing my artwork, my dad, and then people in the community. I love it. I just love it. So that kind of also brings joy to me as well. So yeah, it is very therapeutic for me. So,
Right.
but yeah, it's just, and like I said, doing Between the Lines, it's amazing.
Well,
So
what I love about Between the Lines is that your artwork and the guest artwork is great, but like you said, the at home is surprising sometimes because you're like, oh, that person can draw. I had no idea. There's like a
yep,
surprise. Sometimes you just don't know, and then somebody,
right,
Travis will post up a picture of it, and it's like, wow, that's amazing. I think we discovered that on this week's show
yep,
um, with Lady Fantastic. She sent in some
and
drawings, and we were like, I
and
didn't know she could draw.
she's going to be our next guest.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
So
Awesome.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do. I love that. I absolutely love seeing that. And like I said, it brings the community together too. And and it was really cool about the show last night too, which was so bizarre, was that Cali Comics drew the same three
Oh, that's right.
characters
Yeah.
as K-pop,
Right.
and they were like random.
Right.
Like and
Yeah, they
I just
weren't
was
talking to each other. Yeah, that was
no.
just a random thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just crazy how like this community is so like kind of in sync with each other too. So
Right.
but yeah, I love it. It's so much fun. It's a great time.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's I think we're like-minded in the fact that we like comic books or we like to collect things.
Right.
And then, so you
Hobby.
have that instant connection, and then it's kind of just a jumping off point for other things, right? Friendships
Absolutely.
and other things that we are, like I had no idea that the football league was going to be such a big thing. Like I didn't
Right.
realize that there were that many sports fanatics within the community. But
Yep.
we have different
And me and
aspects.
you,
Right.
Giants
Yeah,
fans,
right.
baby.
Giants, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy because then you find out there's other people that love like wrestling.
Oh
And
yeah.
then you have other people that are like, oh, I love like I love this show, and then like how you said, it just branches out into a whole thing, and then you develop these amazing friendships, and then now all of a sudden I'm talking to a guy in Canada almost every single day, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, you just never know with this community, and like I said, it's great getting to know people and then sharing the same interest, a hobby like minds, and then it just branches out from there. You know, like you said with sports, like our fantasy football league. I mean, to be honest with you, we could actually probably have like an 18 team league with how many
Oh
people
yeah,
want to be in there.
yeah. I'm
So,
surprised at how much more interest there is now. For next year, we're talking about maybe somebody running a second league. So it's
yep,
great. It's really it's fun to see.
yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. Love this community.
All right, so you made it through my question. Now the last one's going to be a total random. So just give me a number 1 through 50, and wherever we land, that'll be your question.
27. 27 is my number.
Yeah. All right, so 27 is what TV or YouTube channel doesn't exist, but really should?
Oh, man. Um, all right, we were just talking about this last night. Um, Austin LeMay. Austin LeMay should have content on his YouTube. He should record what he draws. Just like a time lapse. If he did that, I'm telling you, or if he did like I was saying earlier with because he used to come on Chris's show, Art with the Professor on Saturday mornings,
Oh, really?
or
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah, he used to be on there. He used to draw. He used to hang out and draw on there. Yeah. So I Austin LeMay, I would say, because Austin LeMay's a great guy in this community, and but like I said, amazing artist. So I would like to maybe he does like a hangout show where some of us go on there and we just doodle or draw, or something. I don't know, like or if he does like a time lapse of him doing a cover, like that would have been cool if he did the one like he just sent to DJ Links.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what
That
we're
would have
talking
been.
about, right? Because
Yep.
DJ had a Spawn cover done by Austin, and so did Tyler from Whack Comics and Shatterglass. Those Spawn covers done by Austin were amazing, and
Yep.
they got him slabbed and signed actually by Todd McFarlane, and
Yep.
Todd actually commented on nice art or
Yep. Yeah.
nice artwork. He made a little comment on it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
with 2 exclamation points. DJ made sure he told him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that would be cool. Because, like I said, I don't think a lot of people know too much about Austin LeMay, and he's a great guy.
Yeah,
So I
it's
would say
funny because
that.
I haven't seen him recently. And, he used to do some of the hangout on do White Shadows banter or
Yeah.
Legion of Comics, but I've seen him in the chat. He's been active in the community, just not on camera recently. So
Okay.
yeah.
I do have another one though. I do have a second one
Okay.
if I can, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, and it was something that we were trying to do, but I would love a sports banter show with some of the people from the community, because our chat is hilarious, and I think so. You know what I mean? So I think I would love to see that, because people have asked me before. I'm like, hey, like, have you ever thought about doing a sports show? And I'm like, yeah, I have plenty of times. But then when I thought we were going to do the one, for the fantasy football league, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. But it didn't pan out the way I wanted it to. So I think if I would love a, like, it doesn't even have to just be football. I would love just a sports, like a
Right.
sports, like a comic book sports show. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
Right.
Like you can also integrate your sports with your comic books. Like if like a comic book comes out, with like I don't know if you know this, Brian, but there is a comic book cover with Saquon Barkley on the cover.
I do know.
Okay. All right. So like that would be cool. Like I don't know if anyone knows it, but it's a Black Panther book, and so him and Black Panther on the cover. So I mean, there's covers like that out there. But if we incorporated like how to like incorporate like cards.
Right. Well, yeah, that's
sports.
what I was thinking, right? There's such a big sports card community, and a lot of those card collectors are big sports fans too. So, in the overall collecting community, there's probably a lot of interest there.
So that's another thing I'd like to see, because like you said, like you couldn't believe how many sports fans there are in this community. There's a ton. So I mean, you can get people on to come and talk about, like, I mean, you got Beckerman and Legion. They could be talking about wrestling. You can have I can come on, talk about football. You know what I mean? Someone talk
Right.
about I like basketball. Ty Locks can come on and talk about baseball. You know what I mean? Like there's just I think there's so many. I love all the sports like hockey. You can come on, Brian, talk hockey.
Yeah,
You
we
and
could talk.
you and
Yeah.
Nick can come on and talk about those horrible Rangers all you want. Um, sorry, I'm a Devils fan, everyone. But no, like I said, I think that would be really cool. A community sports page, like our community
I
sports,
like it. I like it.
community sports show. So
Yeah, I mean that was one of the great side effects of the fantasy football league was the IG chat that we had, and we really kind of kept it just sports talk. We were talking about the football games, and we started talking about some of the college bowl games and just college football in general, and it was
yeah,
just such a fun chat because it's a good group of people. But
absolutely.
it kind of took on a life of its own, and it was really fun. I've played fantasy football for a long time, and this has to be one of the funnest leagues that I've been in, just because of the group of people and the
Absolutely.
dedication. I think to it. So it was fun.
Heck yeah.
So
Oh yeah, I had a blast, and like I said, all these guys, when we talked junk the whole year. I mean, you had even a bet with Cole for the Giants and
yes,
Lions game.
I lost.
So yeah, but actually, I mean, Brian, did you really lose?
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I told
We're the
myself.
ones in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'll take the playoffs. You can have fun on vacation right now.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I love it. I thought it was great too. I had such a good time with that, and like you said, just these guys made things a lot more fun. And then when we were doing the show too, I liked doing that. That was a lot of fun. Like I was making clips. Remember I was
Oh
making
yeah,
clips
yeah.
for it
No, you
too.
were
So,
into it. Yeah, you were really into it. I mean, I
um,
enjoyed it too, but I just I didn't really get a sense for when we first put it together, like where it was going to go, and so I didn't really have a lot of expectations for it. And then as the season progressed, like everybody was so much into it, like wow, this could really be a thing. And I think a few of the guys, like Brad, Southpaw Brad, was on, and he's like
yeah,
he never anticipated people watching that show and asking us fantasy football questions. Like
that
who to
was so cool.
start, should I
Yeah,
trade this guy? And it's like, wait a minute, people are actually listening to, and we're not any experts, but you
they're
know,
not from ESPN or anything.
so that was really interesting to actually have people come on in the chat, and a lot of the names that asked us questions were people that I've never seen before. Like
Absolutely,
they
yeah.
weren't like part of the comic book community, and so
Yeah,
that
they'd be like,
was really
I have this person, this person, this person. Who should I start in my flex, and who should? And I was just like, this is so cool. I don't know who the
right,
the red bear is. 67. I don't know who that is, but thanks, man. Appreciate you. That was
yeah,
that was so cool.
yeah.
I
Well,
geeked out over that.
yeah. And so now, all right. So Monday you do between the lines. Tuesday you do late night. Now you're gonna have to figure out another time slot for the sports show, though.
I
But the
know.
problem is, I don't think Travis can co-host because he's really, from what I understand, if somebody sends him a hat of a sports team, they can buy his fandom. So I'm
A
not sure
hat
if he's
or
the right guy for the job.
Trev just sent him a Chiefs shirt now, so now
Oh boy,
he's
we got
now
to
he's
get
a
him some
bigger.
Giants gear right away.
I am going to be sending him a package. You know what? Maybe I will. Maybe I'll stick a giant shirt in there. But yeah, he'll support any team anything you send him. He'll.
He'll wear it. But he's
I'm going
like
to
a
send.
child small anyway, right? So the
Yeah,
t-shirt's
right.
not really going to cost you that much.
Exactly. Oh
Get him
man.
like a Giants onesie, and he'll be.
Yeah. Yeah. What's he? Oh yes.
So,
Uh,
all right. So that was it. You made it through all. You made it through all of the questions. Thank you. Appreciate your answers and hanging out with you. Um, so this is going to air, Friday. This coming Friday. So right before
oh,
Old Wolf's big event, and I'm going to be helping support Old Wolf as well. I'm giving away a couple slabs as part of the donation to help raise some money for his 24-hour fundraiser. So
yep.
but what else do you have? What else do you have coming up on your channel?
Um. So like I said, look out for a new short video. I want to try. Okay, so I have a lot of things in store for my channel in 2023. I'm I want to get to. I mean, I'm almost at 400, but I am really aiming to be past that. I want to try and aim to get like get higher up. But the thing is that I want to do like a short video, every 1 to 2 weeks. Like I wasn't doing that enough, and I think if I do that, I love doing them, but I just haven't had the time to do them. So doing that, and then also like getting some people on between the lines. I have been in talks with some people, some not just community members, some actual artists. So
Nice.
we'll see. That's what I'm saying. I think 2023 is going to be a big year for my channel. And but what else do I have coming up? Nothing really, not much. I mean, like I
Between the
said,
lines, right? Between the lines every Monday,
yeah,
either
between
on
the
your
lines.
channel or TM.
Yeah,
So definitely go check that. And I'll link. I'll have all of Roscoe's links. I'll link TM's channel as well, so you guys can find him, because I know you guys alternate in between the lines, right?
yep. Shout out Gary B. Hashtag grow together. So that's what was something that we come up with. Me and Chris. We were like, hey, let's have it so people can follow us both. You know what I mean? So
Right.
they can go to this channel. So I continued it with Travis. You know what I mean? Get him out there. That's what we're here for. We're here to help each other get to that goal. So yeah, I was like, yeah, we'll put on Travis. I know Travis really doesn't, draw, even though he did the last episode.
Yes.
He did draw something, which that was so awesome. But normally he doesn't. So, but it was good for him to come out of his shell and draw something. But yeah, Monday nights, man, Between the Lines, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is one of my favorite shows. Tuesday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is Roscoe's Late Night Addiction with TM Nerdy. Can't forget that. He'll bite my head off. No.
You have to
Yeah,
say.
yeah. But then I said, like, just look out for different, different stuff. But like I said, I'm going to be doing more videos on my channel, not just, like, of course, lives, but look out for videos and more content of me, like maybe like hunting. Because that's something, like I said, is something else I want to do. I'm also going to be going to MegaCon this year.
Oh, okay.
So like I said, my channel, I'm looking to, I'm going to be making more content and more videos. So just keep an eye out, follow me, and hit that like, and hit that little bell, that notification bell, and you'll see.
Yep. So links will be down below for all of Roscoe, his Instagram, his YouTube channel. Yeah, and yeah, the con videos do really well. People love, because a lot of people don't have the opportunity to go to some of the bigger cons. So seeing videos of it, I did some stuff from New York City Comic Con from last year, and they were some of my most popular videos. So yeah, that MegaCon sounds like a good
Yeah. And I'm also, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I don't know. We'll see. But Heroes Con is supposed to be like
in
where
June. Yeah.
everyone, I mean, like a ton of community. I'm more excited about the community members than the actual con itself. But I heard the list of people that are going to this is extraordinary, and so I don't know. We'll see. That's something I really would love to do, but again, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to try
trip.
to make it. It's June in North Carolina, Charlotte. So I'm going to try to make it.
I heard
like
you were on this list. You were one of the people that was on. Someone had a whole list.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't see that. Okay. I know there's a
bunch
of people that have been talking about it. So, and I've heard that that's a really good comic, kind of centric show, not a lot of other things. So no
TV movie stars and stuff like that. I heard it's all comic book based.
Right.
And I was like, see, now that's, there's going to be more just comic book people, you know what I mean? Not just like, other people for like, who knows what, but that is something I really would love to do, only because I just want to meet, all you guys, you know what I mean? Like that's something like, it's something on here, but in person, it's like a whole new world. Yeah. So that's what I think that's what I'm excited for. But like I said, more content. And so hopefully I'll be going to more cons. I don't know.
All right. So big things for Roscoe this year. definitely go check them out. Like I said, links are down below. Roscoe, thanks again for being on. Appreciate
Ryan,
it.
thank you,
And
brother. Appreciate you, brother.
yeah,
Thank you, man.
we'll see everybody next show. Thanks for watching. Take care.
Yes.